Closing submissions today in the trial of a man accused in a 2022 murder. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The fate of 26-year-old Joseph Hubbard is now in the hands of a judge. He's pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder. The Crown and defense each delivered closing submissions today, and a verdict isn't expected until the end of May. Hubbard was arrested by city police in June of 2022 for the stabbing death of 28-year-old John Rubin at an apartment on Miles Street. Hubbard testified that Rubin came to buy drugs, but then sprayed body spray in his face and tried to rob him. That led to an altercation. Hubbard got a hold of a knife during the struggle and admitted to stabbing Rubin in the chest. The defense lawyer calls it an act of self-defense by a man fighting to save his life. But the Crown argued Hubbard could have de-escalated the situation rather than kill Rubin after nothing more than a minor assault. The judge will announce her decision on May 31st. The full story can be found on tbnewswatch.com. Ontario's Minister of Natural Resources shared an update on his government's forestry strategy on day 2 of the Noma AGM here in Thunder Bay. And another presentation today was from the Nuclear Waste Management Organization on its potential underground waste repository in the region. Lee Noonan has those details.
Graydon Smith, Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, presented his government's plan to stabilize the forestry industry to municipal leaders at the Noma conference. A key pillar of that plan is to support new uses for forest products to diversify the market.
Ups and downs, vacillations, booms and busts. We want to smooth that out, and we see an opportunity to smooth that out and create ongoing, lasting, and significant prosperity.
Earlier in the day, he met with a delegation from Terrace Bay and the broader region about the mill closure there nearly 4 months ago.
So we're thinking about those workers and families in Terrace Bay and all those communities that are impacted, further out as part of the forestry sector. So it continues to be job one for us to work very hard to find some people out there that are interested in that mill.
Municipal leaders affected by the closure say they believe the province is doing what it can to get the mill reopened, but they're concerned by a lack of action from AV Burla, the company that owns the mill.
Minister Smith is doing what he can to get the mill up and running. The mill has to start communicating with the government, and the government will assist them.
The chips that our sawmill produces, there's no place to bring them now. We're looking at about 1,000 loads in Hornpain, around 1,600 loads sitting in White River right now. So we need to clean that up. And in the long-term effect, our mills are at production. We don't want them to reduce their production because they have no place to put the chips.
The NWMO and the Township of Ignace gave an update on the project to build a deep geological repository for nuclear waste. A decision is expected this year on whether Ignace will be the chosen site.
You cannot impose this on a community. They would not give an approval at the impact assessment stage without knowing that there was a social license for the community that it would affect most. And that is what we're doing now. That is why Ignace and Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation have that first decision.
Leaders in the region had a range of responses to the project. Some are supportive, others more concerned, but generally they agreed on the importance of being well informed.
I don't think there's been enough communication and outreach with communities along the transportation route.
I found it informative. There was things that I was not aware of, so the information is very important.
The rest of the day was filled with sessions on a wide range of topics, from recruiting and retaining medical staff to the risks of cybercrime. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The Wasan transmission line is now one step closer to seeing shovels in the ground. Hydro One announced at Noma today that the project has received a key approval from the Ontario Energy Board. The OEB has determined that the $1.2 billion project to build about 360 kilometers of transmission line through the region is in the public interest. As a result, the Wasan project has been granted a leave to construct. That leaves only the approval of an environmental assessment before the project can go ahead.
We are currently working through the approval process and are having active conversations with the government, recognizing how critical this project is to the region. Pending this approval, we are prepared to start construction this fall.
In its assessment of the Wasan transmission line, the OEB finds the project is needed to increase electricity supply in the region west of Thunder Bay and enhance development potential. It's also found that there are no better technical alternatives and no preferable alternate route. Thunder Bay Police are crediting tips from the public for helping their officers arrest a suspect in a brazen ATV chase nearly a month ago. On March 30th, City Police were called to the area of High Street and Oliver Road after receiving reports of two males on an ATV who weren't wearing helmets. Officers tried to stop the vehicle, but it sped away. The riders were later found near Logan Avenue. There, an officer attempted to arrest them, but was assaulted and briefly dragged as the suspects drove away. Police released images of the suspects and the vehicle. Today, they confirmed an 18-year-old Thunder Bay man was recently arrested. He's charged with fleeing police, dangerous driving, and assaulting a police officer. More drama at Queen's Park today involving the ban of the keffiyeh, the scarf that's often worn to show solidarity with Palestinians. An independent member, Sarah Jama, again wore one in the legislature, refusing to respect the ban, so the speaker told her to leave. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the story.
Sarah Jama, you are named. You must leave the chamber.
An independent MPP expelled from the Ontario legislature, blocked from voting for what she was wearing.
There are people being genocided, and we are arguing about a cloth right now.
The keffiyeh, a scarf important to Muslim, Arab, and Palestinian communities, has been banned at Queen's Park. A decision made by the speaker, who says it's become political.
It's not that the rules don't apply to me specifically. The rules very specifically apply to anybody speaking up against genocide, against anti-Palestinian racism.
Sarah Jama refused to leave the chamber, staying through question period.
There was no way for me to have her removed short of physical force. I wasn't prepared to do that.
But the order to go and Jama being barred from voting rattled the opposition leader.
I am appalled. And I think I speak for everyone here on this side of the House. And I actually believe I speak for many on the other side of the House as well.
Agreed? I heard some no's.
Attempts to allow the keffiyeh have failed, with MPPs from the government benches knocking them down. Opposition members say now the Premier needs to act.
He needs to actually speak to his members and allow this to pass, or to move a motion himself.
The Premier has called the policy divisive and urged the Speaker to reconsider.
It's not good that this thing keeps hanging out. It's not good or healthy in here. It's not good or healthy outside.
But asked about Jama today, Doug Ford deflected.
The Speaker runs the legislature. I don't. That was his choice.
MPPs are off on a 10-day break, but when they return,
I'll definitely continue, as I'm here, to continue to wear it.
CTV's Siobhan Morris reporting. Synergy North officials visited Woodcrest School this morning to educate grade 3 and 4 students about how to stay safe around electricity. This is the rebrand of the utility's former Highline program, teaching kids about where electricity comes from and why it's dangerous. Jaden Billick has more.
2, 3. Be Power Safe! Awesome, guys.
Be Power Safe is the new slogan used by Synergy North. This updated education program is an easy reminder for children to watch for hazards when they see potentially dangerous situations involving electrical equipment. According to the Electrical Safety Authority, emergency services in Ontario respond to over 150 cases of electrical-related injuries involving children each year.
So we do talk about if you're outside and there's downed power lines, we talk about inside electrical safety, just to kind of make kids aware of where it is, what it is, and how to be safe around it. And hopefully they bring this information home to their parents and families and friends.
Throughout the presentation, the children had opportunities to experience educational videos and hands-on demonstrations. This physical representation of how a circuit works by holding hands, this student wearing all the safety gear required when on a job site, and this student wearing a massive insulator glove were all ways of engaging students, making it easier for them to ask important questions to better their understanding.
I thought it was really, really cool. I like the part where we got to see all the videos and see the stuff that some of the stuff that I didn't know.
The program will be running in local schools until the middle of May. Anyone interested in booking a session can go to Synergy North's website. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
More than 200 special needs students from elementary schools across the city put on their sneakers for this year's Special Olympics competition. A multi-sport day was held at the Lakehead University Fieldhouse and Hangar. Josh Morano was there and files the story.
The athletes were welcomed with a high-five line from Thunder Bay Police and other volunteers. 18 schools were represented by the Special Olympics athletes, participating in a variety of sports. Special Olympics volunteer Keith Nutley helped organize the event. He says this is the 8th time the local event has been organized for elementary students, and it's a great way to introduce the athletes to their high school Special Olympics programs.
It's a great opportunity. Very happy with the turnout. Over 200 athletes out today, and it's neat to see the kids running and sweating and participating. Some kids are playing sports for the very first time, so it's been awesome.
It's incredible, especially athletes this young who may not have the opportunity otherwise. So a great group of volunteers that run this event. Some high school students getting their hours in here running all the stations. We have 26,000 athletes in Special Olympics in this province, and about half of those come through the school. So they get the exposure at the elementary, and then more competitive in the high school, and then Special Olympics is truly sport for life as they enter the community and into Thunder Bay Special Olympics.
There were plenty of opportunities for these young athletes to get a taste of all sports available. Different stations were set up all around the hangar, including soccer, basketball, floor hockey, and even cornhole, giving the students the chance to learn about a sport they may have never played, or, for some, show off their skills.
I'm having a lot of fun because there's so much cool sports, and like basketball, that's one of my favorites, and we were just doing it.
I like it so much, and my favorite part is the hockey one.
I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
I was really excited. I'm having extremely fun right now.
But of course, along with the exercise and getting these students active, the main message of the day from organizers is to always have fun. Josh Morano, TBT News.
Oh, great to see those kids having such a great time. And Fiona, today was a great day, whether you were participating in sports inside the field house or the hangar or outside, because the temperatures got up to double digits.
Very enjoyable improvement, we'll call it, over the last few days. We did hit a high of 10 Celsius, lots of sunshine. That was after a very cold night, though. -6 and a wind chill of -9. That is well below normal for this time of year. Winds were mostly from the east, 14 to 37 kilometers per hour. And to the west, we had similar overnight lows and daytime highs for parts of the region, but Fort Frances, Dryden, Kenora, Red Lake, they all saw overnight temperatures hovering pretty close to the freezing mark. They had lots of sunshine, although Red Lake, currently at their high of 19, saw clouds increasing this afternoon. They're currently mostly cloudy skies. We hit 18 in Sioux Lookout and Dryden and Atikokan, and it starts to cool down. And then we hit much cooler regions, Armstrong, Greenstone. They saw overnight lows on average about 6 to 7 degrees cooler than areas closer to the Manitoba border. But they are also at their daytime high with lots of sunshine at this hour. Along the North Shore, cooler still. 3 in Marathon, 4 in Wawa, Sault Ste. Marie currently 10 under just a few clouds. Now, here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, we are going to be a little milder than last night, but still below the freezing mark. However, we're not going to be talking about wind chills because winds are going to be very light, 5 to 10 kilometers per hour from the east under those clear skies. And the good news is temperatures are going to stay pretty consistent for tomorrow. The bad news is we could be pulling out the umbrellas again by the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to running in the rain on Saturday morning.
I feel for you.
All right, thanks a lot, Fiona. Let's turn our attention to national news now. Ontario Premier Doug Ford hinted at it earlier this week, and today it became official. Honda is creating a major EV battery plant here in this province. Both Ontario and the federal government are coming to the table with money for that. We'll have details on that and more right after the break.
It's a big win not only for Alliston, it's a big win for Ontario, but it's also a big win for Canadians.